All right, here we go. Something we like to do as much as anything around here is roast whole chickens. I'm gonna go back to yesterday and explain what happened then, because you're gonna start the process of this 24 hours before you wanna do the cook. You're gonna get it into separate pieces like this. The reason for that is the dark meat and the white meat are gonna reach done temperatures at a different time. They have different temperatures they need to get to. So if it's all one bird, you're gonna pull it off and part of it's gonna be overcooked while the other part of it is done perfectly. So I quartered it yesterday and then I dry brined it yesterday. All that is just salting it pretty generously. Put it back in the fridge, uncovered. It'll help dry the skin out. The other thing you need to do is dab it dry, because we want it to be as dry as possible to help the skin crisp up once we get it on the smoker to actually cook it. All right, so now back to today. I've gone through what I did yesterday. I like to keep it pretty simple. You need some kind of rub that's not gonna add more salt. It's gonna be too salty if you dry brine it and have salt in your rub. You're gonna wanna pull the skin back, which is not that difficult to do. And then we're gonna get the seasonings up under there. For the actual skin itself, a lot of people like to do oil, some people like to do butter. You can do whatever you want. I actually don't do either of those things because I've not had great success with either. Something I've started doing though to add a little extra layer of flavor is just some minced garlic. And not only does this add another little layer of flavor, but you need some kind of moisture to help the rub stick to the outside. And some black pepper as well. Get a new pepper mill. You all told me that I needed to get one, so what do? We ordered one. And this is to taste. So that's how it's gonna look, and I'll take you through the rest of the process once we get it on the smoker. Take a look at this setup here, all right? So I've got this thing elevated, what's that, probably 4 or 5 inches from the normal grate height. And oh yeah, snuck some wings in there. Those come off first thing, be a nice little snack while we wait on all this to finish. The reason that I have it elevated is to get it as far up into the dome as I can, so you get as much reflective heat as possible off of the top of the dome, down onto the top of the chicken, helping with the crisping of that skin, which makes the chicken so good. As you can see, getting a little charred on one side, so flipped them around so it balances out. Wings are looking good. Those will come off for a snack pretty soon. And by opening it up, giving it oxygen, we're allowing the temperature to climb now to around 375, which is the biggest key in this whole thing. I mentioned earlier that the different kinds of meat are going to finish at a different temperature. These are done. I'm gonna get these to 170 at least. And the good thing about dark meat is there's a lot more fat in there, a lot more connective tissue to break down. The biggest issue people have with chicken is they say it's dry, right? It's dry and it's tough. Well, if you take it to the temperature the FDA tells you to, 165, and then take it off, it's probably going to be dry and it's going to be tough. First of all, you don't need to get quite that high. Second of all, what happens is there's a thing called carryover cooking. And so when you take the meat off, it's still going to continue to rise in temperature for a few minutes afterwards. So you're gonna wanna pull the chicken breast when they reach 150 degrees internal, and then let the carryover cooking take them into a safe range while you have foil tented over it. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? So when it comes to the breast, there is an art to cutting it. Get a nice sharp knife, and we're gonna cut, look at those juices spilling out of there. We're gonna cut the breast away from the bone, out, all right, pivot it. Just a little bit of lemon squeeze, nothing too heavy. Hope you guys can make it yourself. Hope you enjoy it as much as we're about to.